Review of Chapter 10, Photosynthesis. We start off with the photosynthesis equation on page 187. It should look familiar to you because it's basically the exact opposite of the equation of cellular respiration. So this time we're starting off with 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, some water, some light energy, and then we're converting light energy into glucose and oxygen is released. Now, in your notes in the beginning I talk about classification of organisms by way of obtaining organic nutrition. Autotrophs, the word autotroph means self-feeding. An autotroph is an organism that uses a non-food source of energy to convert carbon dioxide into organic foods such as sugar. Autotrophs include photoautotrophs, which are organisms that are capable of photosynthesis, and chemoautotrophs, which are capable of chemosynthesis. Only certain bacteria are capable of chemosynthesis. Photoautotrophs include plants, algae, cyanobacteria. Now, the rest of life are heterotrophs. Heterotrophs are organisms that must rely on pre-formed organic material for food. Animals are heterotrophs, most protozoans, fungi, many bacteria. We are heterotrophs. Now on page 187 of your textbook, it shows you a drawing of a chloroplast. Chloroplasts are the organelles of photosynthesis in eukaryotes. You'll see the grana inside the chloroplast. These are stacks of membranes containing the green pigment chlorophyll. The stroma is the space surrounding the grana. Page 189 of your textbook shows you the pathways of photosynthesis. Now, there are two stages of photosynthesis. The first one is called the light reactions. The second one is called the Calvin cycle. With the light reactions, light energy is captured by chlorophyll, water is split, oxygen is produced, and the energy is transferred to ATP and a coenzyme called NADPH. The Calvin cycle is the second stage. That's the stage that converts the carbon dioxide to sugar, and it takes that energy from the ATP and the NADPH that was produced in the light reactions. Now, this conversion of carbon dioxide into sugar is called carbon fixation. Roman numeral 3 of your notes, how light is captured. Light is a form of electromagnetic energy. You need to look at page 190 in figure 10.6 to see the electromagnetic spectrum. Visible light is a portion of that spectrum. Visible light itself contains wavelengths of the colors of the rainbow. Starting from violet on one end, red on the other, green in the middle. Now, it just so happens that chlorophyll is green because that's the wavelength it is reflected. The other wavelengths are absorbed. So the reds and yellows are absorbed, the violets and blues are absorbed, but the green is reflected. It's the wavelengths that are absorbed that is used for energy in photosynthesis. Now, go ahead and move on over to the summary in your notes, Roman numeral 5, the fate of photosynthetic products. Basically, the organic material that plants are made of, not only the sugars, but the starches, the cellulose, the proteins, everything else, ultimately came from photosynthesis. It is the biomass of the plant that is available for all the heterotrophs, the rest of the food chains and food webs pretty much on the planet. And that concludes our brief summary of photosynthesis.